Hey guys, this is Communications, and welcome to my review of The Incredible Hulk. The 2008 reboot of the Hulk Marvel comic book character. I don't like to call this movie a sequel to Ang Lee's Hulk, because I really don't think it has anything in common with the film at all, really. It has a completely different origin story, it has a completely different cast, it has a completely different approach. The only thing you could say, the only slim, tiny, teensy connection you could say is that, Bruce is hiding out in South America somewhere in Brazil. But, that really isn't much of a connection at all. So I don't think this film strayed as far as it could possibly go from Ang Lee's Hulk. And I think that was the right choice. Start fresh, start with a clean slate, and this is an example of a reboot that I actually like. I remember when I saw this in the theater, I was impressed. I really had a lot of fun with it. I agree with Pete Hammond from Hollywood.com. I definitely agree that this movie is a super-powered adrenaline blast. It's very entertaining, it's thrilling, and it's only an hour and 45 minutes. It says it's an hour and 53 minutes, but that's minus the end credits. Minus the end credits, including the scene that is after the end credits, it's only an hour and 45 minutes. It goes by like a rush of just power and energy, and it just felt a lot. It achieved the balance I was looking for in a Hulk movie. It had the dramatic elements that were present in Ang Lee's Hulk, but it wasn't the forefront. And Ang Lee's Hulk, it tried to be too much of a psychoanalysis, I think it tried too hard and did way too much dealing with Banner's psyche, and really put the Hulk aspects of the story on the wayside. Here, yes, there are pretty much almost, you could say, honestly, the same amount of Hulk out scenes in this that were in Ang Lee's Hulk. But I think they're handled better. I think the action is better. The Hulk looks less cartoonish. There are some moments in this film where the Hulk looks downright real, especially in the scene in the cave with the rain, that's the rain that's dropping on the Hulk's skin and everything. I just thought I was really impressed by the effects in this. Back in 2008, it still looks really impressive to me. I'd probably still say that my favorite version of the Hulk is probably still the Avengers Hulk. That's the best looking Hulk so far that's been put on film. But this film has my favorite Bruce Banner on film. I'd probably say I honestly would probably say Bill Bixby's my favorite interpretation of the character of Banner, the character, the scientist. But I still think Edward Norton did a great job. He's very close to the top, and in terms of the portrayal of the character, I liked him a lot more than Eric Bana. I thought Eric Bana was one note. I didn't buy. I really wasn't impressed with Eric Bana at all, and I thought Edward Norton did a lot better job. And I liked his character. I like Edward Norton anyway. So anyway, this film's directed by Louis Leterrier, who I think he did Transporter 2, and this film definitely did benefit from an actor, benefited from a better actor as the lead, but it also benefited from a director who knows how to direct action. Ang Lee at this point in time, I don't count Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as an action movie. Louis Leterrier knew how to edit an action film, he knew how to do the right pace, he knew how to make a Hulk movie thrilling. And he really did. I thought he did a great job here with this film. So yeah, I really enjoyed his approach to the film, and so I think he was a good choice. So you could tell that he had a passion for the character. There's a few things that honestly I would say I thought that I didn't like, that I thought actually honestly the Ang Lee's Hulk did better. I'd probably say overall the score. Craig Armstrong's score works for what the film is trying to do, but it isn't memorable at all. Unlike the main theme that Danny Elfman did for the 2003 Hulk, I really like the main theme, but the rest of it's not very good. So I would say that Ang Lee's Hulk did a better job with the main theme, the main score, main title, rather than this movie. So that's one thing that Ang Lee's Hulk did better. I would say I like Jennifer Connelly a lot better than Liv Tyler. Liv Tyler was there, but she's not nowhere near as good of an actress as Jennifer Connelly. And honestly, I'd probably say I like Sam Elliott more than I like William Hurt. There were some moments where he kind of took it a little bit too over the top. But William Hurt's still a great actor, and so is Sam Elliott. But I just thought I like Sam Elliott more, and as the character of General Thunderbolt Ross. But that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go when it comes to what's better. You know, anything that Ang Lee's Hulk does a better job with, because I just thought this film had a better villain. You had you not only had General Ross, but you also had Emil Blonsky, who was really well portrayed by Tim Roth. And, you know, of course, you eventually would mutate into the Abomination, which finally gave the Hulk a monster that he could fight that's of equal size and strength, which I really like seeing. That was really fun to see that. And you also had Samuel Stearns, who would eventually become the leader, which I like the portrayal of that actor who portrayed him. I just thought, you know, there's a lot of things I liked a lot better. Like the pacing. I thought the pacing was just it's a massive improvement in this film versus that 2003 movie. And I really liked the aspect of having, you know, the separation between Betty and Bruce. I think it was handled a lot better here than it was in Ang Lee's film. Because that became the forefront of the emotion in this film, was the, basically, you know, Bruce and Betty love each other, but because of the circumstances dealing with, you know, Bruce as the Hulk, you know, they're separated. They had to be separated for so long, and then when they reunite and then they have to break up again, it's really tragic. And I think it does a really good job, you know, putting together those scenes and pulling out those emotions in the audience. So yeah, I really like that aspect of the story. And I like the idea of Bruce being a fugitive and trying to learn how to control his anger through unconventional ways. And he's on the run. That adds to it. That makes it more interesting. The plot's a lot more interesting in this, because it doesn't spend 45 minutes of the film's running time building an origin. Instead, this movie, you know, it sprinkles the origin, you know, a little bit throughout the film, like in the opening credits and so forth. But it's not the forefront. It's just on the back burner, on the way back burner, where it should be. Because the Hulk's origin is incredibly simple. Bruce Banner experiments with gamma radiation, something goes wrong, he becomes the Hulk. That's it. You don't have to go into this super in-depth analysis like Ang Lee's film did, which made it super complicated with nanomeds and DNA he was already a mutant before he got, you know, radiated. You didn't need that. You didn't need any of that, really. That just made it way too complicated and hard to follow. So here it's just really simple. Louis Leterrier, he was a big fan of the TV show, The Incredible Hulk, with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. So he added a lot of homages to that. The machine that Edward Norton uses that causes his transformation in the opening credits of the film. He basically, that's pretty much inspired by the same machine that caused Bill Bixby to transform into the Hulk in the 70s show. Very, very similar production design of the machine in the 70s film, and the 70s TV series, and in the 2008 movie in The Incredible Hulk in this film. And also, Lou Ferrigno has another cameo. He had a little bit of a cameo role in the first film as security guard, and here he is as security guard again at a college. And it was nice to see Lou Ferrigno. And there was also I thought it was a really good shot where Edward Norton's flipping through channels on TV in Brazil, and he sees a shot of a show that Bill Bixby was on early in his career, and when he was like a father. And I don't. It's not Father Knows Best. I know it's not it. And for some reason, I just cannot remember. I'll just look that up real quick, so I know exactly what the show is that he was in. The Courtship of Eddie's Father. They showed a clip of The Courtship of Eddie's Father TV show that Bill Bixby was in. And I thought that was a nice touch. It was a really nice touch, and was respectful to Bill Bixby and honored him unlike the 2003 film, which let's name his character David Banner after douchebag Nick Nolte, who wanted to kill Bruce and then ultimately ended up killing his mother instead. Yeah, let's name his character after that guy. That wasn't very respectful, in my opinion. This film was a lot more respectful to the memory of Bill Bixby, and also a lot more respectful to the character of the Hulk for me. Now, the gist of the plot is this: at Culver University in Virginia, General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, played by William Hurt, meets with Dr. Bruce Banner, played by Edward Norton, who, like I said, I think is a massive improvement over Eric Bana, the colleague and lover of his daughter Betty, Liv Tyler, regarding an experiment that Ross claims to make humans immune to gamma radiation. Although the experiment is actually part of a World War II era super soldier program that Ross helped host to recreate. It fails and exposes Banner to huge amounts of gamma radiation. This has the effect of causing Banner to transform into the Hulk for brief periods of time whenever his heartbeat rises above 200. The Hulk destroys the lab and injures or kills the people inside. Banner then becomes a fugitive from the U.S. military, and Ross in particular, who wants to weaponize the Hulk process. I like this bit of the plot. I thought it was really cool because it showed that you have a little bit of a connection to the other Marvel franchise. This is when Marvel was trying to connect all these movies together to lead up to the Avengers. I think they did another good job. Little sort of note to the Super Soldier program, which eventually, of course, a lot of us comic book geeks know that that's Captain America. That's the Super Soldier program that was, World War II, that created Captain America. And I think there's a deleted scene in this that has a shot, I think, that you see Cap and frozen in the ice, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I like that stuff. And I like how there's a little bit of a brutality in this, in the opening of the film, and throughout the movie, intensity that wasn't in Ang Lee's Hulk. Because, when Bruce first transforms into the Hulk, it's disastrous. He not only almost kills General Thunderbolt Ross, he almost kills Betty. You see a shot of her in the hospital just beaten up. Bruised, broken bones, he's got a neck brace on. It's really, really tragic. And the people are actually torn up, laying there, not like in pieces, but just laying there, broken and bleeding after the aftermath, after the first transformation. I thought that was really a nice touch and a ballsy touch too. And there's other shots later in the film too that I noticed where when Abomination is attacking people in the city, if you look in the background, in the way back of one of these shots, the Abomination literally uses his spikes that are on his elbows and literally cuts people in two almost. You see in the background, and it's out of focus, but you can see him take people and use these protrusions out of his elbows, these super sharp protrusions, and cut people, and you see blood. I was like, whoa, this is PG-13, but like they had it in the background. You watch it again, you can see that. He's taking innocent people who are on the streets and literally cutting them in half almost. I thought that was really intense. I'd noticed that, and I didn't remember noticing that when I saw it in the theater. So that was really something different. And also, like what I was saying before with the homage to Lou Ferrigno, he also voices the Hulk in this film. So that's another great thing. And of course you get to see and hear Hulk say Hulk smash, something that you were waiting for in the 2003 film, but you never got. So all you got is take it all! Take it all! That's all you got. You didn't get Hulk smash, you got take it all. Which I'm like, yeah, take all this shit back. Take it back. Anyway, yeah, so that was really cool. Anyway, after he's a fugitive now, and 5 years later, Banner works at a bottling factory in Rotina, Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, while searching for a cure for his condition. And I like the approach the film has of making a note on the bottom of the screen saying how many days it has been since an incident. I like that touch. Also like the touch that Banner's trying to actively try to keep track of his heartbeat, trying to do all the different types of techniques, Tai Chi, find different ways of trying to control his anger so then he doesn't, lose control. And So it kind of makes me think that he's trying to learn how to control it, maybe? Because you could kind of see sort of a little sort of it sort of alludes to that, and especially at the ending of the movie where it looks like he's got control of the Hulk, which then would explain the problems some people have with the Hulk, with Mark Ruffalo being able to control the Hulk and the Avengers. Maybe he already knew how to do that, because it kind of seemed like he knew how to do that already at the end of this movie, which I'll get into soon enough. Anyway, he works at his bottling factory in Brazil, which is in the same, I think it's the same town with all the buildings that are stacked on top of each other that was used a few years later in Fast Five. So that was pretty cool. So while searching for his cure for his condition, on the internet he collaborates with a colleague he knows only as Mr. Blue, and whom he is Mr. Green. And so he's Mr. Green, that guy's Mr. Blue. And he is also learning meditative breathing techniques from a martial arts expert by Vrkjan Gracie to help keep control, and is not transformed in 158 days. After Banner cuts his finger, a drop of his blood falls into a bottle. It is eventually ingested by an elderly consumer, played by Stan Lee, creating medical complications and eventually killing him. Well, I don't really remember seeing him die. It just sounded like he had an adverse reaction. I don't remember them even saying he died, so I don't know what somebody on Wikipedia wrote this, so I don't know what they're getting at there. Either way, I think that scene could have been completely cut out. That had no purpose whatsoever in the film. Why? Because Samuel Stearns, even though he uses Banner's blood to try to replicate it and use it for good and also bad eventually, that was because that was from the sample that Bruce actively sent to Stearns, not from a sample that was found in Stan Lee's soda. That was a completely unnecessary scene that could have been easily cut out. It was just there to try to give another Stan Lee cameo, which, to be honest, I'm getting tired of. I'm done with Stan Lee cameos. Just stop breaking the fourth wall with Stan Lee cameos, Marvel. It's getting really old. And this is one of the weakest ones anyway. Using the bottle to discover Banner's location, Roth sends a SWAT team. I guess they'd use the bottle to discover his location. I don't know how. I guess because it came from Brazil. I guess that's the reason why they have that scene. I guess so. Alright. I get it now, but either way, the approach is just cut out the Stan Lee shit. You don't need that. So then he sends a SWAT team led by Russian-born British Royal Marine Emil Blonsky, played by Tim Roth, to capture him. Banner transforms into the Hulk and defeats Blonsky's team. That's after some guys pick a fight with him, and he doesn't want to get in a fight, but ultimately has to change. And I thought it was really cool. I love the way this is set up in the factory. The first Hulk out you see in the movie. I really like it. It's really done really well. It keeps the Hulk in the shadows. It keeps it mysterious. It adds a little bit of sort of horror element to it. Which, think about it, Hulk is kind of a horrific beast. Think about it. I mean, really, that's a really scary thing. This giant big monster basically, and hiding in the shadows, throwing people around. I really enjoyed that scene, hiding in the smoke and whatever. And I also really like the Louis Leterrier's approach and the cinematographer's approach of trying to intersperse a lot of green in the film. Like the soda, the guarana soda is green. All these other serums and stuff that he's trying to use are green. So he tries to intersperse the green, color in throughout the film, and not only just on Hulk's skin. And I also really like the fact that there's a little bit of the running joke with the purple pants, and I think it's actually I thought it was used really well. Where Liv Tyler bought some pants for Bruce, and they're purple, and he's like, I don't know about that. I don't want to wear it. I'm not wearing those. And she's like, but they're the only ones that I could find they were the stretchiest ones I could find. I like that. Excuse me. I don't know. Hopefully I'm not getting a cold. That would suck. Anyway, then back in the plot. Hulk makes short work of Blonsky and his team. Ross then explains how Banner became the Hulk, and Blonsky agrees to be injected with a small amount of a serum developed as part of the same operation, Super Soldier Program. which gives him enhanced speed, strength, agility, and healing, but also begins to deform his skeleton and impairs judgment. Excuse me, sorry. Banner then returns to Culver University and reunites with Betty, who is dating a psychiatrist, Leonard Samson, played by Burrell, who would go on to be in Modern Family. Banner is then attacked by Roth and Blonsky's forces, tipped off by the suspicious Samson, causing his transformation into the Hulk. The ensuing battle in the courtyard outside a cathedral proves to be futile for Roth's forces, and they eventually retreat. I like this scene. They tried ingenious ways of trying to stop the Hulk with sound. You know, I like the transformation. You know, Bruce is cornered in this walkway, a bridge walkway on the campus, and breaks out of the bridge and fucks up the soldiers. It's a crowd-pleasing scene, and I really like it. The Hulk then easily, basically, but Blonsky, whose sanity is starting to falter, boldly attacks and mocks the Hulk. The Hulk dispatches Blonsky and flees with Betty. Basically, he saves Betty because her father's being an overzealous asshole and just bombs the heck out of the place. And then the Hulk ends up saving her, and still, Ross still doesn't register this, that the Hulk might not be as bad as you think he is, because he just saved your daughter and you almost killed her. And then even the psychiatrist guy, Burrell, then gives him shit later, and you know, he's like, you know, now I know why Betty never talks about you. And, you know, of course, William Hurt brushes him off, like, whatever, you know. William Hurt played a good, you know, asshole in this. His portrayal of General Ross seemed like he didn't give a shit about his daughter at all. In my opinion, that's why I like Sam Elliott a little bit more, because it seemed like he genuinely did care about Betty. He really did care about his daughter. He just had his obligation as this general, and he just wanted to keep her safe, and rightfully so. He was worried about this monster and also what he was capable of, and also from the family, because his father, David, was also an asshole and was really crazy, so he was really worried about his daughter's safety, and you could tell that. Here, he's just a villain. It's, you know, cookie-cutter villain, and that's why William Hurt was okay, but I just thought that the character was just way too cold-blooded. You know, I understand you need to get the job done, but this is your flesh and blood. This is, and I know you don't like the Hulk, but he just saved your daughter's life. I think you would at least acknowledge that. But nope, he still wants to capture him and use him for his super soldier program because he lost his goddamn mind. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, the Hulk then, you know, flees with Betty. And then they go to the cave, and I really like this scene with the lightning, and Hulk's I like this, you know, Hulk's freaked out by the lightning and throws a rock at the lightning, gets pissed, and Betty's there to calm him down, and I like the effects. I think the Hulk looks almost real in that scene. It's really impressive in my opinion. The muscle definition, everything, it's really impressive to me. The skin looked almost lifelike in that scene for me. Then he reverts back to Banner, and then he and Betty go on the run and stay in a motel for the night and plan to make love, but they give up because his heart rate monitor is getting, you know, his heart rate's getting too high. And I like that note. And he's all like, you know, oh, what do you mean? It's like, I can't get too excited. And Liv Tyler's like, not even a little bit excited? No. It's okay. It's okay. That sucks. Can't even have sex. That's a total bummer. Anyway, so after that failure, the sexual failure, Banner contacts Mr. Blue, who urges them to meet in New York City. He turns out to be cellular biologist Dr. Samuel Stearns, played by Tim Blake Nelson, who I liked his performance, who tells Banner as he has developed a possible antidote for Banner's condition. After a successful test, he warns Banner that the antidote may only reverse each individual transformation. Stearns reveals he has synthesized Banner's blood samples, which Banner sent from Brazil into large supply, intentional of applying its limited potential to medicine, to cure people of disease and so forth. Fearful of the Hulk's power falling into the military's hands, Banner attempts to convince Stern to destroy the blood supply. Blonsky is revealed to have survived his injuries from a previous battle with the Hulk, where the Hulk just kicked him against a tree like he was nothing, and is completely healed. He joins Ross's forces for a third attempt to take Banner into custody. They succeed, and Banner along with Betty are taken away in Ross's helicopter. This whole scene with the testing the antidote, I love that scene. It's a really great transformation. It's one of the first times you really see step by step how painful and how absolutely spectacular and astonishing it is to see the transformation of just a Banner into the Hulk. A great scene. I really love that scene. And shot with tranquilizer dart. Blonsky then, and then he and Banner and Betty are taken away in Ross's helicopter, which is in CGI for some reason. That's one effect I don't like. The CGI helicopter is flying around the city. It didn't. Why did this helicopter need to be CGI? Blonsky then stays behind and forces Stearns to inject him with Banner's blood as he covets the Hulk's power. Stearns warns that the combination of super soldier formula and Banner's blood may cause him to become an abomination. Unconcerned, Blonsky forces Stearns to administer the blood at a gamma charge. The experiment mutates Blonsky into a creature with size and strength surpassing that of the Hulk, but drives him to become angry like the Hulk. Abomination then attacks Stearns, who gets some of Banner's blood in a cut on his forehead, causing it to mutate him, which would eventually turn him into the Leader, which would have been the villain in the sequel that we never got, for some reason. Even though the movie made a decent amount of money, it made $263 million at the box office, but Marvel would have rather would instead use their money to make a sequel to Ghost Rider rather than do an Incredible Hulk sequel, which I don't understand. I would have rather seen Incredible Hulk 2 than Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. And I know I did a positive review of that, but I tried watching that movie again, and I couldn't sit through it. I just got past the first 30 minutes, and I just gave up. I couldn't do it. So, yeah, I can safely say I'm not a fan of that movie anymore. So I definitely would have rather seen a sequel to this rather than another Ghost Rider. With Nicolas Cage scraping at the door! Ah! That's just, come on now. Pathetic. Waste of money. Anyway, just let's throw all this money just so Nick Cage can, do one of his piss poor acting performances. Great. Wonderful. Anyway, the Abomination then, the Abomination rampages through Harlem. That's what I'm saying. You see scenes where the Abomination is throwing cars around and shit. Things are blowing up. He's attacking the military truck. Fucks them up. Some dude shoots a bazooka at him. He grabs the missiles. Like, whatever. This isn't nothing. Blows up in his hand. Makes short work of these military guys. And, that's when you see scenes in the background. Like I said, zoomed out. And he's fucking up people. Cutting them and, blood is spraying. And then this is when Banner manages to convince Ross to release him because he says, I'm the only one who could stop him. And Betty's like, well, you don't know if you're going to change yet because of the antidote. He's like, I got to try something. Then I like this scene. It's an imaginative, different way of a transformation scene where Banner just falls out of the helicopter and crashes down on the asphalt below, and I like the scene. He's falling in the air, and then he's expecting to get angry or his heart rate's gonna go up enough that he's gonna change. And he opens his eyes, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And bam! Hits the ground, and then the Hulk's fist punches out of the ground, and then he gets out of the ground, and it's really crowd pleasing. It's awesome. They have a cool, fun battle between him and the Hulk and the Abomination. Realizing that the whole, so basically he jumps from Ross's helicopter and transforms after hitting the ground, fist punches through the ground, jumps out, get ready to kick some ass. After a long and brutal battle through Harlem, the Hulk defeats and nearly kills the Abomination by choking him with a huge chain, relenting only after Betty's plea to spare. And I like this scene, the whole scene of Hulk chasing after the Abomination. They get in fisticuffs, they punch each other. Hulk rips a police car in half, smashes it. It's like, come on. Punching the Abomination in the face with these pieces of the car. It's so awesome. It's something that was totally missing. This visceral intensity, this, was missing from Ang Lee's Hulk. I bought the anger more in this. I bought the anger of the Hulk more. The ferocity. And he also has somebody that he's met as match, not the Absorbing Man who's a lame villain, not some stupid thought bubble. It's no holds barred, punch it, which is what I remember reading in the Hulk comics. So punching the Hulk, Hulk's punching the Abomination, Abomination's punching the Hulk. I like the fact that they make the Hulk kind of vulnerable. The Abomination is pretty much kicking his ass, throwing him around like he's a rag doll. Hit him so hard, Hulk actually gets dazed, and Abomination's running up buildings, and Hulk's chasing after him. Ross is helping out the Hulk, shooting the Abomination. I just punched myself in the face because I'm so... I just thinking about this scene just makes me, you know, pumps me full of so much adrenaline. I just start punching myself, I guess. Like, ah! So anyway, this is awesome. So, you know, just running up the building, and they're chasing after each other, and the Hulk, they're hanging on to, the Abomination jumps on to Ross's helicopter with Betty on it. Hulk's grabbing onto his leg. It's making the helicopter spin out of control. Crashes on a building. Abomination stands atop of it, like, you know, it's on fire. It's like, you know, the Hulk and Abomination get in a battle. Abomination stabs the Hulk in the chest with his spike. The Hulk has to watch while the helicopter starts to light on fire. And then the Hulk's like, I had enough of this shit. Grabs the Abomination, you know, gets him off of him, kicks him, puts him down, and just has enough time to do that clap, which I loved seeing that, because you didn't see that in Ang Lee's Hulk. But it's an example of a power that you didn't see in Ang Lee's Hulk. Hulk has this power where he can just do a thunderclap, and it's just going to put out fires and cause a lot of damage to the enemies. It was great to see that. So he uses the thunderclap to put out the fire, and then you know Abomination's got this chain with this cinder block at the end of it, and he's like ready to swing it at the helicopter, and the Hulk has enough of that, takes him out. Chain falls down. Hulk grabs the chain and just starts strangling Abomination's ass. Yes, it's brutal. Yes, it's simple. But that's the Hulk. The Hulk isn't complex. The Hulk is kind of rock'em sock'em robots type, you know. Anyway, so I liked seeing that. It was simple, but it was intense, and it was just unbridled ferocity. And then of course Betty talks him out of it. And of course earlier before that, you had the Hulk smash scene that was just crowd pleasing. I remember when I saw that in the theater, everybody was like cheering with the Hulk smash, like Hulk smash, and people were like, yeah, finally. And then Betty makes Hulk relent, let the Abomination go. Oh, there's one thing, it just lets him go. He's like passed out. Hulk puts his foot on top of him, like, you know, I beat your ass. You know, puts the foot on top of him in victory, and just kicks him to the curb. But I'm like, what happened to the Abomination? You didn't really figure that out. They just left him lying there in the middle of the street in Harlem. Like, did they shoot him in the head? What did they do? Like this is a monster, a beast. He could wake up and cause more havoc. Like, aren't you gonna do something? That's one part I was like, huh? So then after having a small peaceful moment with Betty, the Hulk then flees from the scene and escapes from New York, which I like the scene where he's running on the buildings. Really cool, well done shot, good effects. Leaps in midair with the spotlights on him. I like that shot. And the score in that bit I liked. And then a month later, Banner is in Bella Coola, British Columbia. Instead of trying to suppress the transformation, he's attempting to transform into a controlled manner. As his eyes turn green, a grin appears on his face. So he figured it out. So, excuse me, I'm coughing and sneezing throughout this whole review. Excuse me. What is up with this, man? Jeez. I apologize. Anyway, so he has this controlled transformation, which explains why he can control his transformations in the Avengers. So nobody has a problem with that. He figured it out at the end of this. So, yeah. I had a problem with that too until I watched this thing and I'm like, oh yeah, he did figure out how to control it at the end of this movie. And then the end credits sequence is General Ross is drinking at a bar, and Tony Stark appears. Robert Downey Jr. reveals him that a team is being formed. And I thought that was really cool. Well, I thought originally I didn't think he was going to make a reference to the Avengers. I thought he was going to tell them about the Hulkbuster armor, which I thought that was where it was going to go. You need some help, you know, I could create some armor for you, you know, that kind of thing. Because that's what Stark would do in the comics. You create this Hulkbuster armor to help Thunderbolt Ross fight the Hulk. So anyway, that's The Incredible Hulk, the 2008 film. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and thoroughly enjoyed it when I saw it in the theater back in 2008. I enjoyed it immensely the second time around. I'd probably say it's one of my favorite Marvel movies. I think it's definitely better than Iron Man 2. It's better than Iron Man 3. I wouldn't say I liked it as much as Captain America because that's nostalgic for me. I'd say the first Iron Man is still better. I'd say the Avengers is better. But I definitely put it in my top 5 of Marvel movies. I thought it was really an awesome film. I thought it was better than all 3 Spider-Man movies, all 4 Spider-Man movies. Better than X-Men First Class. Better than Ang Lee's Hulk. I think it's the best Hulk film out there by a mile. And, yeah, I really don't know what to say about Incredible Hulk. So I was rated out of 5 stars. I'm going to give it 4.5. I didn't have really any issues with it other than the score was pretty forgettable. Liv Tyler was uneven at best. She was pretty, but she's not the greatest actress. And William Hurt's character I just thought was really kind of weak. His motivations were there, but his character was just a bit kind of silly. It was like, really he's that gung-ho about this? Like, I understand it's a comic, but, you know, it's your daughter. Like, I would, you know, like, there's even a scene later when she's like, I'm not your daughter anymore. And he's like, well, the only reason why you're not in handcuffs too is because you are my daughter. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what a douche. Man. So anyway, so that's, yeah, it's kind of unbelievable that a father would be that much of an asshole because he's got a military obligation to his own flesh and blood. But you know, I guess that happens all the time. So this is not that far-fetched, but I just think it was a really... I don't remember General Ross being that gung-ho about it, completely saying fuck Betty in the comics. Like, I never really remember that. So, but anyway, I've only read a few comics. But anyway, either way, I really enjoyed the film. Hulk met his match in the Abomination. That was a lot of fun to see. And Edward Norton was great as Bruce Banner. And I really wish he would have been in the Avengers. Mark Ruffalo I can deal with, but I prefer Edward Norton. I really do. I prefer Edward Norton over Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. And I think Edward wanted to be in it, but, you know, the Marvel was flipping out thinking he'd want too much control, and they fired him, which I thought was really bullshit. But anyway, I'm going to leave it on that note, I guess. Well, about a sequel, Marvel pushed back the plans of a sequel to 2016. Like, Marvel doesn't give a shit about the Hulk. Even after the success that the Hulk had in the Avengers and people were really psyched about him, they're like, nope, we don't need a Hulk movie. Well, we'll do Guardians of the Galaxy before we'll do another Hulk film. Which, honestly, I'd rather see another Hulk movie rather than Guardians of the Galaxy with fucking Rocket Raccoon. But anyway, that's my review of The Incredible Hulk. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the comments and everything you guys have left for this series of Hulk reviews, and stay tuned for some Christmas related stuff and special treat for all you guys. I got a franchise in mind which I think is going to really end the year with a punch. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. See ya.